بسم الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا وشفيعنا محمد صلوات ربي وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وأعوانه ومن والاه. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we continue to explore the inner meanings and the prophetic traditions of Islam, which will help us to mold our behavior and shape our character and our personalities. Because our ulama, the scholars of Islam, they have a great statement that Islam is not understood only through your prayers and fasting and your charity. Rather, Islam is exercised through your actions and thoughts. So the way a believer is behaving and thinking itself demonstrates your understanding of the faith of Islam. And we know that Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to say that إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ مُعَلِّمًا, I have been sent as a teacher. إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ, I have been sent to perfect the most valuable human characteristics. So the perfection of behavior is not only the normal behavior, it is to perfect the human behavior. That is the purpose of the messengerhood of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Sahaba and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, they demonstrated the highest possible values through their actions and words and their interactions with people. And you know the well-known story of a Bedouin who came to ask charity from the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that was in the streets of Medina. Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was walking on his way. A man pulled his robe. A man just pulled his towel from his shoulder, and it really left, red marks on his shoulder. So Rasulullah didn't have his shirt on, and this Bedouin, he tightly pulled his shawl from behind. Then it was really painful. It was about to bleed. It left some marks on his body. Yet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam smiled at him, and he asked, "How can I help you?" We need to examine each and every moment, each and every second of the prophetic life, because each and every moment of the prophetic life is a great message to the humanity. So the time he turned behind, he asked him, "How can I help you?" And he was smiling. Would it be possible for any of us to have such a rude experience from someone that they pull your shirt from behind, or they push you or pull you or rush to you or disturb you or just block on your way and ask you something? They're asking your favor. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, "How can I help you?" Then the Bedouin said, "A'tuni min malillahi alladhi a'taq." O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, give me from the wealth that Allah has given you. He thought anything that Rasulullah possesses everything was charity, none was his. So he said, "Give me the wealth that Allah has given you." So the answer of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was that, Ammal malu famalullah. The wealth is Allah's wealth. Ya Arabi, innahu sayuqadu mink. O Bedouin, definitely I will have to take a revenge from you because you really left a red mark on my shoulder. And look at this, it's painful. So I have to do the same to you. Then smiling, the Bedouin said, I knew that you do not repel the bad with bad. I knew that. And you have the best of manners. So how come you take revenge from me? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had nothing to do but smile at him and said, come on with me, I'll give you something from my house. And the household of Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was so simple, he had nothing but some dates and water. So he said, I have a few dates, you can take whatever you want, and you can drink from the water that I have. So he took as much as possible he could. And while coming out of the house, it is the masjid. You can imagine the house of Rasulullah, the Hujratul Sharifa, the house of Aisha radiallahu anha. The next door is Al-Masjid Nabawi. So they just stepped into the masjid. And Sahaba were waiting for the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he asked him, the Bedouin, in front of the Sahaba, are you happy now? He said, no, I'm not happy. The Rasulullah didn't get upset, but the Sahaba got upset. How come an Arabi, a Bedouin, can reply such a rude reply to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He lacks respect, honor. He didn't even care about the high status of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they were about to get on him. Rasulullah said, calm down. Then he took him to the house of Fatima radiallahu anha. Can you imagine? This type of behavior is not possible from anyone but a messenger, a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he walked with him, and Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam told Fatima, I have a guest with me. Would you like to donate something for this stranger? This is our guest. His nationality was not known because they belonged to different tribes. His native place was not known because he lived, the Bedouins spread across the Arabian Peninsula. His name and his family, ethnicity, nothing was known. It was known he is a believer, and that's it. He was a poor man, and that's it. And he spoke Arabic. Fatima radiallahu anha, she had some food. She asked him, you may take whatever you want. And he took as much as he can fill his pockets. Then he came out. Rasulullah asked him, are you happy now? He said, Jazakallahu anni khayra. Jazaka min ahli baytin khayra. May Allah reward you and your household better rewards. That means he was happy. But the Sahaba, they experienced only one answer from him. When he told, I'm not happy, so Rasulullah told him, hey, why don't you say that? Are you happy now? Yeah? Yes, I'm happy. Why don't you say that you're happy in front of my companions? Because they had a little bit of resentment in your heart. Because the time you told me no, you were not happy because I couldn't give you more. So they felt it in a bad way. So please, is it possible that you say I'm happy in front of them, in front of the public? So of course I'm okay for that. So Rasulullah took him to the masjid, and he asked him. He told the Sahaba, "O my companions, this man, when I had nothing to give him except a few dates, he was not happy, and that made you really sad and upset. And now I have given him more from my daughter's house, and he's extremely super happy now. Would you like to hear that from him?" They said, "Of course, yeah." So, are you not happy now? Jazakallahu min ahli baytin wa ashiratin khayra. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "This is better that you leave this company with a clean heart. And Sahaba has no hatred, no resentment upon you, and you are happy, and let that be known to the public that you are happy. وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, you have the utmost beautiful character. Imagine this type of an experience happening in our daily lives. When you ride on the public transport, for example, or train or flight, there will be people jumping in the queue and disturbing you, or occupying your seat, or misbehaving to you. Would you be able to showcase that patience and perseverance and tolerance? This is your religion. Islam is portrayed through your character. This is called hilm, forbearance, patience, tolerance. Because we all human beings, each one of us have, every one of us has a different character, a different taste, a different viewpoint, a different way of thinking, and different way of interpreting things. That is normal. So criticism is normal in life. You cannot make everybody happy. That's not possible. As long as we're human beings, it's not possible to make everybody happy, to make everybody convinced, to make everybody love you and respect you. That's not possible. We are human beings, and people have different way of thinking. The only way to solve that puzzle is to show tolerance. When someone criticizing you, you say, that's all right, it's good for you. If someone repeating the same and again, oh, you might be right. Again accusing you, blaming you, you can say, I don't know, I can agree with you. You know, these type of terms and sentences, if you just twist in your wording, in your statements, you can avoid a clash. You can avoid some chaotic situations. You know, this is the teaching of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he used to say that al-hilm bit-tahallum, al-ilm bit-ta'allum. Hilm means patience. Hilm is perseverance, and that comes through practice. You have to get a punch from your little son or daughter, and you bear patience with that, because after all, that's your child. Okay? So you get used to teach yourself patience. Something happens from your own family members, and you bear with that. You know, after all, they are your family. Then take to the outside. You know, someone hurts you, disturbs you, take it easy. Take it easy. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, radiyallahu ta'ala an, one of the great Khalifa in the Islamic history, he was known to be the second Umar after Umar ibn Khattab, radiyallahu anhu. So, he was walking in the masjid at night, and the light was put off. There was no light. It was dark inside the masjid at night. And he had his army, his, not bodyguards, they didn't have bodyguards, that his own, you know, friends and people of his acquaintance, they were with him. So they walked into the masjid. Suddenly, the lights put off. Maybe some wind blew or something. So a man was lying on the ground. By mistake, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, radiyallahu anhu, he hit his leg. So the man immediately asked. He knew that it is Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, or a VIP coming in. He said, Anta a'ma, are you blind? And that's a normal, someone could ask that. Are you blind? You didn't see me? Because he was not visible. It was dark. But maybe he slept when it was there was light. When he woke up, it was dark. You know, he just said that word. And Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, radiyallahu anhu, just said, no, I'm not blind. And the companions, they actually stood up to teach him a lesson, just to reprimand him. Then Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, radiyallahu anhu, said, stop, don't do that. He just asked me a question, and I gave him the answer. He asked me, are you mad? Are you blind? I said, I'm not. And that's it. Stop the story there. How beautiful it is when we take some comments, when we approach some criticism, and you just stop it there. You don't let it escalate. You don't narrate it to someone. You don't interpret those words. You just leave it there. Stop it there. Khalas, enough. إنما سألني سؤالا فأجبته. Who is this? Someone who was ruling from China all the way to Spain. That was him, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz radiyallahu anhu. And he said, I'm not blind, I'm not mad. Subhanallah. Great examples. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu, you know, he was Tarjumanul Quran. He was the cousin brother of the Rasulullah sallallahu, of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, son of Abbas, who was uncle, younger uncle of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. You know, his father's brother, younger brother. So his son, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma, who is well known for his knowledge, his wisdom, his interpretation of Quran, his teaching in Al-Masjid al-Haram, the Makkah mosque, you know, around the Kaaba, Al-Masjid al-Haram. Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu, he was a mudarris. He was a teacher there for 30 years. For 30 years, he was a teacher, mudarris, scholar, giving fatwa. Hundreds of students learning from him. That was him. And he was approached by a person who actually accused him, blamed him, shouted at him, scolded him. And Ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala and called his servant and said, you may please ask him, does he need anything that we can, we can help him? He has anything that we can pay for him? Does he have any debt we can pay it off? Does he need any food we can give? Just ask him what he wants. So the man was really ashamed. Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu didn't say a word in return. Such is the incident with Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala an. And you know the story. I don't know if we mentioned in here. Yeah, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu both were sitting in a company. A man from Quraysh came and blamed Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. He was accusing him, shouting at him. He was just insulting Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, both of them kept literally silent. They didn't say anything. They didn't say any single word. But when the man continued his rude behavior, Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu gave him a reply. The moment he gave the reply, Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam stood up. He started walking away. And Siddiq radiyallahu anhu said, "Oh Messenger of Allah, what made you upset? Why are you walking away from me?" And he was smiling, and when I started speaking, you just walked away. Did I do anything wrong? So he said, "Ya Abu Bakr, the time you were silent, there were angels defending for you on behalf of you. The moment you opened your reply, the angels got up. They departed. And who came in? Who landed instead? Shaitan. Shaitan landed there because you were giving them replies. You were giving them mouthful answers. So I don't want the company of Shaitan, so I left." Subhanallah. This is the reality many of us do not understand. Take these lessons into your family circumstances where some problems arise. You deal it in the way Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam dealt with, the way Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam took his stance, the way he made his decisions, the way he replied. This is Islam. So Islam is portrayed through your behavior, the way you react to things, the way you react to criticisms, the way you react someone who is hurting your feelings. Islam is all about behavior. إنما بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق. sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, I have been sent to perfect the moral values, to perfect the human characteristics, to perfect the human behavior. This is the purpose of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, provided you perform your religious duties. There's no excuse in that. There's no point someone who's not praying but he's a really good-mannered person. That doesn't count in your akhirah. In this world, it may, but in the akhirah it wouldn't. So you have to be performing your religious duties, and you showcase a great character, a great behavior. In imru'un shatamaka wa ayyaraka bima ya'lamu fik. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, if anyone criticize you, if anyone make fun of you or ridicule you or speak sarcastically about you, فَلَا تُعَيِّرُهُ بِمَا تَعْلَمُ فِيهِ. Do not blame them with that in that person. They told you, hey, you did this and that, and that person did this and that. So if they accuse you of something, do not accuse them of what you know about them. Don't say that. Why? فَإِنَّمَا وَبَالُ ذَلِكَ عَلَيْهِ. Because what comes after this type of behavior is the punishment of Allah. So the consequences of his talk, he will suffer, not you. So the moment you do the same answer, you may have to suffer the consequences too. So after all, patience is never a failure. It is not. Patience is actually the strength. لَيْسَ الشَّدِيدُ بِالسُّرْعَةِ. The strongest of you is not someone who can beat someone down. It's not a good wrestler. It's not. You may be weak in your muscles. You may not have your six packs. That's fine. As long as you can control your anger, you can control your emotions, and you can be really patient. At time, normally someone go mad, you are the strongest. إِنَّمَا الشَّدِيدُ الَّذِي يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ. The strongest of you is someone who can control his anger while he is angry. And this is not easy. I'm telling you, I'm narrating this hadith, and it could be really tough to put into practice. You may not know this hadith when you get angry. Then after a while, hey, I forgot that hadith. I forgot to behave like that. But as a believer, we have to be on our toes, because you are looking for a role model in Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in every footstep that you put forward. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us all. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. I'm concluding with a reference from Ibrahim ibn Adham rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, one of the great theologian, a great man of the pure Sufism. Ibrahim Adham radiyallahu anhu, well known for his wisdom and his words of intelligence and the words of deep spirituality. Once he was walking and he was faced by a Jewish man, and he was walking a dog with him. And the Jewish man wanted to make fun of him, this Imam, great Imam. And he said, Ya Ibrahim, لحيتك أطهر أم ذنب هذا الكلب. What does that mean? Oh Ibrahim, is your beard purer and better than the tail of this dog, or my dog's tail is better than your beard? Look at that question. How painful it is being asked to a great man who actually left all of his luxuries behind. He was a prince actually. Then he turned to be a really pious, righteous, upright mu'min. And he was a leader, he was a master of many hundreds of students across the world. And this was, he was asked, is your lihya, your beard, better or purer, or the tail of my dog? And he has a dog in his hand. What would you do? What would be your answer? As human beings, we all react, yeah? we react emotionally. How do you know someone is religious? You know them when tribulations come, when they go through really tough time, when they face with challenges. If there is no challenge, the stronger and weak will not be known. Nobody knows who is weak, who is strong. And now, what do you expect? What would be the answer of Ibrahim Adham, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh? He said, "O Yehudi, I appreciate your reference, your comment. If I am in Jannah, in the hereafter, if I get to go to Jannah, to the paradise in the hereafter, definitely my beard is better than the tail of your dog. But if I'm not, if I go to the other side, to Jahannam, to hellfire, then definitely the tail of your dog is better than mine." Yehudi was shocked. He said, "Is this Islam? Is this kind of marvelous wisdom being, nourished in the Muslim minds? MashaAllah." He said, "Wallahi ma hadihi illa akhlaqul anbiya." This is behavior of prophets. Only prophets of Allah can say these answers. فَأَسْلَمْ, he said, "Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah." I testify there is no God worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his mighty messenger. So, لَأَنْ يَهْدِيَ اللَّهُ بِكَ رَجُلًا وَاحِدًا خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا فِيهَا. If you were able to guide someone into the right path, that is better for you than each and every dirham, dollar, pound or euro or penny or rupee, whatever you want to earn. A man getting guidance from you is better than the entire wealth you can accumulate from this world. It was told to Imam Ali bin Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu, "Ya Ali, لَأَنْ يَهْدِيَ اللَّهُ بِكَ رَجُلًا خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا فِيهَا." So, guide them through your character. So, we all work abroad. We are expatriates here. As Muslims, we are representatives of Islam. So, when you work in your company, try to be sincere at most, to the maximum capacity possible. Be sincere. Be truthful and honest. We are not cheaters. When you cheat, they will make a picture. Muslims do this. Could be that the minority do that. And you should be trustworthy. You should be telling only truth, even if that truth is bitter. And you should be trusted by your employer. So you showcase the beautiful face of Islam through your character. So you become the pride of your company, pride of this ummah, and pride of the ummah Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us behave in the way that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam taught us to behave, because إن أثقل ما يوضع في الميزان تقوى الله إن أثقل ما يوضع في الميزان بعد تقوى الله حسن الخلق. The heaviest thing in the balance on the day of judgment, after your taqwa, your conscious of Allah, your thinking of Allah, your piety after that, because to be muttaqi, to be pious, is the number one thing that you can find heavier on the balance, in the scale. But the second thing is husnul khuluq, your good character. So we bring up our children, our family members, we spread smiles across smiles, and we behave in the sense that we represent the deen, the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jazakumullahu khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us those whom Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be proud of on the day of judgment. May Allah reward all of us for our good deeds and forgive all our bad deeds and sins. Ameen. May Allah shower His mercy upon the dead. May Allah give cure and shifa for sick and ill among us. Ameen Ya Rabbil Alameen. You may please pass on information about this lesson, because we just have started since a few weeks ago. Please pass on to your non-Malayali community, who don't speak Malayalam and they can understand English. Please let them come in, inshallah. You get the reward for that. Just like I said, someone, if you be able to guide someone, that is better than everything that you can think of in this world. Inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.